Did you know that the Supreme Court once called the right to constitutional remedies the heart and soul of our Constitution? Or that during an emergency, some of our most cherished fundamental rights can actually be suspended? For UPSC aspirants, understanding fundamental rights isn't just about memorizing articles, it's about connecting them with landmark judgments, current debates, and exam questions. In this video, we will break it all down in the simplest way possible. Let's start with the right to freedom of religion, covered under Articles 25 to 28. These articles guarantee every citizen freedom of conscience and the right to profess, practice, and propagate religion, but always within the limits of public order, morality, and health. For example, the Supreme Court has upheld restrictions on practices like animal sacrifice in the interest of public order. Now, think about a mains question. How do we balance individual freedom of religion with state imposed restrictions? Keep this in mind as we move ahead. Next, Articles 29 and 30 protect the cultural and educational rights of minorities. This means communities with distinct languages or cultures have the right to preserve them, and minorities can establish and run their own educational institutions. A landmark case here is TMA Pi Foundation versus State of Karnataka, which clarified the scope of minority institutions. And yes, this comes up often in mains answers, especially when current debates about reservations in minority institutions hit the news. Now we come to what Dr. Ambedkar called the heart and soul of the Constitution. Article 32, the right to constitutional remedies. This gives citizens the power to directly approach the Supreme Court for protection of their fundamental rights. Here, remember the five writs: habeas corpus, mandamus, prohibition, certiorari, and quo warranto. A quick prelim style tip: always match the writ with its purpose. It's a favorite UPSC trick question. Of course, rights are never absolute. Parliament can restrict certain rights of armed forces, personal for reasons of discipline. And don't confuse martial law with national emergency. Martial law means military rule, while a national emergency under Article 352 suspends certain rights but within constitutional limits. Also note, the right to property, once a fundamental right, is now only a legal right under Article 300A. Questions around AFSPA and property rights often appear in current affairs based questions. But fundamental rights are not without criticism. They face excessive restrictions, lack social and economic rights, and can even be suspended during emergencies. Preventive detention is especially controversial. It allows imprisonment without trial. Here's a classic mains angle. Critically analyze whether fundamental rights truly guarantee liberty in India. UPSC loves these evaluative questions. Still, despite their limitations, fundamental rights remain the bedrock of Indian democracy. They protect citizens against state excesses and empower the judiciary to act as guardian of liberty. And don't forget, some important rights also exist outside part 3, like the right to property as a legal right and right to vote. To sum up, fundamental rights are not just legal guarantees. They are the tools through which Indian citizens safeguard their dignity and freedom. For UPSC, always remember, link static provisions with dynamic current affairs. That's the difference between an average answer and a top scoring one. So, tell me in the comments, which fundamental right do you think is most relevant in today's times? And if you find this useful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Up next, our detailed breakdown of the directive principles of state policy, the perfect complement to fundamental rights. See you there.